You're listening to Big World Network.
Delroy vs. the Yshtari, Episode 1, The Ruthless Berin. Written and read by Berin Stevens. The starship shook as metal scraped against metal. "Minx, what was that?" I asked. My butler bot, Minx, turned a metallic head on his boxy body in my direction and said in his nerve-grating shrill voice, "Sorry, sir, docking procedure is now complete." I swore to myself that if I could ever get enough credits to buy one of the new LX350s, I was going to do it. After this job. "Is Killer ready?" Minx paused as this outdated processor tried to come up with another lame excuse. I mumbled to myself, "It is so hard to build good minions these days." "Sir?" I looked up at him from my command chair. What's wrong with him this time? His torso still doesn't turn, and the blaster on his left arm won't fire. Oh, and the stunner still has a short in it. Great. Did you at least get his voice processor fixed? "Not exactly, sir. He only speaks German now. Not sure why." I just hoped Killer would still sound menacing. That was all I really needed, but with my luck, he probably sounded like a German barmaid. I stood up from my chair. "Let's go." I wrapped my cape around myself and walked to the docking bay door. Minx rolled ahead of me to the control panel. I put on my best, award-winning smile and nodded for Minx to open the door. I was ready to perform my role. "Are you sure this plan will work, sir?" Minx asked. "It's foolproof. Soon, I'll be rich." Minx pushed the button. The door opened halfway and stopped. Minx stood there, staring at it for several seconds. My growl prompted him to try the button again. The door made a whining noise, but refused to open any further. "I thought you said you'd fix that." It was difficult to maintain my pleasant smile while gritting my teeth. So much for my grand entrance. Minx rolled over to the door and used one of his arms to push on the edge. The door squealed before it popped the rest of the way open. The LED lights on Minx's flat-screen face depicted a smile. I hated that smile. I realized I was scowling at him when I saw the passengers of the ship we had just docked with. A middle-aged couple stood on the other side of the airlock with confused expressions. I quickly put my smile back up and strode across the access tube and onto their ship. "Greetings, good people," I began. "I wanted to personally welcome you to my sector." The man tilted his head. "Your sector? Just who are you, and why did you forcefully dock with our ship?" I maintained my smile as I bowed. "Allow me to introduce myself. I am Baron Rutherford." The man's jaw dropped. Baron Rutherford? As in Rutherford the Ruthless? "The same." "Okay, so my name is really Delroy, but Delroy the Ruthless doesn't quite have the right ring to it. Besides, the real Baron Rutherford wasn't using his name anymore. And, as he had worked so hard all his life to make it strike fear in the hearts of ordinary people, I just couldn't let it go to waste." The man and woman looked at each other and took a step back as I swept into their small cabin. Cozy. I noticed a door open a crack with at least 2 children peeking through it. So, a family. They were the best. Parents would do anything to protect their children, especially from me. Well, not me, but the me I was pretending to be. What do you want?" the now submissive man asked. I casually looked at my nails for dramatic effect before answering his question. "I don't ask for much. I mainly wanted to warn you that this is a dangerous sector of space. Space pirates and the Yshtari cannibals are known to attack undefended ships. I can help you." "Help us?" "Yes." I strode across the cabin, but stumbled when I tried to keep from tripping over a toy spaceship. I hoped I made it look smooth. I spread my hands out as I said, "For a modest protection fee, I can assure you safe passage through this sector. Surely, you've heard about the space liner that disappeared in this sector a few days ago." By now, Minx had rolled into the cabin, awaiting my orders. The woman spoke, her voice trembling. "But we don't have any money to spare. We spent the last of our credits buying this ship." Great. But I knew better than that. "I am willing to accept other forms of valuables. Gold, artwork." I glanced at the rear door with a sly smile. "Children?" The woman let out a sob. "We've got some gold and jewelry. Take it, but not the children, please." Works every time. The man's brow furrowed as he stood up straighter. "Wait a minute. You're one of the richest men in the galaxy. Why do you want us to pay you a fee?" "John, don't," the wife begged, putting her hand on her husband's arm. The man stepped toward me, his fear diminishing. And I thought I'd read that Baron Rutherford had died in a crash a year ago. Crap. I put my pleasant salesman smile back on. Rumors, true. I was in an accident, but I survived. The man's eyes narrowed. No, I don't think so. I'm sure of it. He pointed to the airlock. Get off my ship. Okay, plan B. I nodded to Minx. He activated the remote he had concealed in his housing. I changed my smile from pleasant to sinister. I poured as much malevolence as I could into my voice, something I had learned from my days in a traveling Shakespeare troupe. I played Macbeth 3 times. You leave me no choice, I snapped my fingers, again for dramatic effect. The sound of treads rolling over sheet metal came from the other side of the docking doors. If I couldn't convince these people to comply, I knew that Killer would. The couple looked at each other and took a step back. They recognized the sound. We heard metal scrape on metal. The treads had quit rolling. Wie geht's? Killer said from the other side of the airlock. Well, at least it wasn't a German barmaid voice, but it sounded like a friendly waiter ready to take an order. At that moment, I wanted to turn Minx into a toaster. Treads began to roll again. At least Killer's appearance should strike fear into them. I waited for the fearsome BattleBot to roll into the cabin and put these people in their place. Instead, another crash sounded, followed by another friendly, Wie geht's? Minx leaned his head over and looked through the airlock. I took a step back and did likewise. There stood Killer, in all his menacing glory, stuck on a part of the door that hadn't receded into its slot. Fortunately, I had a plan C. I pulled the laser pistol from the back of my sash and pointed it at the couple. That's it. Give me all your valuables. When they didn't move, I added, Now! The couple jolted into motion as they began to scramble through the cabin. The last thing I remember was a smile crossing my face just before I heard a zap, and everything went black. When I came to, I found myself lying on the floor of the control room of my ship, the Rutherford's Revenge. Minx stood over me with that cursed smile of his beaming down. I am so glad you are okay, sir. Can I get you a drink? I pushed myself up into a sitting position and looked around. We were cruising at full speed through space. What happened? I felt for my pistol, but it was gone. I got up and stumbled to the hidden cabinet where I kept my spare pistol. Sir, you might want to sit down when I tell you this. Great. I grabbed the pistol and turned around to sit on my command chair. I then noticed that my cape was gone. I really liked that cape. I tried to keep my voice under control. Minx, what happened? Well, sir, this is rather embarrassing, but it appears that Killer's stunner short-circuited again and sort of accidentally went off. I looked around for the BattleBot, but didn't see any sign of him. Where is he? Well, sir, you won't like this. My glare prompted him to continue. Well, you see, after you lost consciousness, the people from the other ship took Killer and anything that looked valuable, which wasn't much, and then they left. Why didn't they take you? If only I could have been so lucky. They already had an LX350 model and didn't want an outdated butler bot, it seems. Then turn us around and let's go get my stuff back. Minx flashed his electronic smile. We can't, sir. And why not? My hands were gripping the arms of my chair so tight that the foam cushion on one side broke off. Well, they sabotaged the controls to send us into deep space. Then fix them. I tried, sir. Truly, I did. But all I managed to do was to steer us toward Yshtari space. My apologies. The LEDs showed that smile again. And then I shot him.
This has been a presentation of Big World Network. Visit us on BigWorldNetwork.com for more free weekly series, or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for listening.
You're listening to Big World Network.